Welcome to the Brewtiful Game. As always, I'm Blake here with Ferris.
Hola.
And Ron is out gallivanting all around. He actually might be back in Florida, but now he's too busy to talk with us. Priorities, man. Priorities. We know the real reason is because our world traveler Ron, though he's back in Florida, but apparently he's got quote unquote work to do tonight.
Oh yeah, sure.
But we think he just didn't want to talk to us because, it's another episode and another Chelsea loss. This one with a chance to actually try and get a little bit of hardware.
Poch is cursed, right?
Poch is cursed. You can take the man out of the Spurs, but not the Spurs out of the man. It's still too Spursy over there. So that's why he doesn't want to talk. So don't worry. As he said, we're more than capable for bashing Chelsea enough for him. To be honest, we'll probably be nicer than he would be if at the current stage he's at.
Yeah, exactly.
He's what stage is he? He's at the anger stage of grief. Is that where we're at right now?
I don't know. He's at the denial. Is he at denial yet? Has he been there? No, that's early on. Right?
I think denial was earlier on. I think we moved to anger at this point.
Yeah, we probably did.
Yeah, it's edging toward acceptance. So we're gonna be looking at the Carabao Cup final from Sunday, where we saw Liverpool player of the match, Virgil van Dijk, win it in extra time for Liverpool as the Jurgen Klopp victory tour gets the first silverware of the season over Chelsea. Then we'll go over all the results from around the Premier League in our 2-minute drill and quickly preview the upcoming Manchester derby on the weekend. Ferris, I'm thoroughly in the Reds corner for that.
Thank you.
Then we'll go over all. Sorry, I'm about to read the same thing twice. Then we're going to blow the halftime whistle. Except I won't, because I definitely Ron's not on the pod. I asked him to send me the whistle and the whip crack. He didn't send me those yet. Let's blame Ron. Yeah, it's not my fault.
Yeah,
it's not like he was traveling and working and I didn't remind anything. Yeah, it's totally his fault. But we'll blow we'll blow the halftime whistle as the giraffe of the pod and the is it his day off Ferris share with us some fun NWSL news happening this upcoming Wednesday. Some sweet kits were dropped. I like that new Orlando City Citrus kit. I think that's kind of cool.
Well, the Pride kit. I tell you what,
the Pride kit.
It looks better in person.
Yeah.
And I'll go into a little bit of that.
Okay, cool. I liked it online. And finally, we're going to close out the pod with another edition of the La Liga's Roundup with our analog whip crack as we recap the results from the FA Cup 5th round proper midweek matches, then look ahead to the quarterfinal draw before we go across the pond and stay in the States as we go over the results the opening weekend of the MLS as we give you an update on the U.S. women's national team in the CONCACAF Women's Gold Cup. First up, our beer. I am doing one that I'm fairly confident we have never had this brewery on. I really don't think. I have got a beer from Crane Brewing.
Okay.
They are in, it says here, yes, I am 21, Crane Brewing. Thank you for asking. It says Crane Brewing. We love brewery. We love being a brewery that is known for our sour ales, wild fermented cellar series. We keep our year-round favorites as core availabilities, but we always are trying something new. Crane Brewing Company is a community microbrewery located in Raytown, Missouri, in the Kansas City metro. So we brew a wide variety of favorite beer styles, but our focus is on traditional farmhouse ales, sour ales, and wild fermented beers. For those who don't know, when your beers are fermented, you're doing like a specific yeast strain. Like, there's like the Trappist breweries have like a specific yeast, whatever. Everybody does that. It's really important to the flavor. So their wild just means whatever, man. Like anything you can get in there. So that's cool. I want to try some of those. And they have a gorgeous rustic tap room located right on the Rock Island Trail, closest brewery to the Kaufman Sports Complex and the Kansas City Zoo, in case you're out there. And if the Crane Brewing, their symbol is like a origami crane. So all of their artwork, you'll see this Ferris. This is their apricot vice. So of course Ron's not here, so I'll do something that's got a little bit of sour to it.
That's kind of the color of the new kits there a little bit.
It is kind of similar. It says a note on this beer, the apricot vice. If you can't tell the difference between peaches and apricots, don't worry, you're in good company. They're both fuzzy stone fruit with juicy yellow golden flesh, but the key difference is the taste. And once you get a taste of today's apricot vice from Missouri's Crane Brewing, you'll be seeing that peaches don't hold a candle to the tart power of apricots. Crane would know their fruited sours have been praised by Wine Enthusiast magazine, Forbes, and even Men's Journal, who calls the base beer in today's apricot vice the best beer in Missouri. To craft today's apricot brew, Crane took the lauded Berliner Weiss base and added 15 pounds of apricots to every barrel. This has given us terrifically tangy with a succulent sweetness to match. Pucker-worthy sip of the 90/100 beer advocate rated brew, or 90 out of 100, is as bright and juicy as biting into an apricot plucked from a tree. And since apricots are less sugary than their peachy pals, make an ideal fruit for brewing refreshingly tart sippers. I feel like this peach attack is like they're at war with Georgia over here.
It sounds like it, right?
But it says they don't undercut the body with syrupy sweetness. They use the real thing. So I'm a little excited to try this. I don't know that I've had an apricot beer in a while.
Heck yeah. No, I don't know. It's been a while for me, too, if I've ever had one. I'm pretty sure I have, but yeah.
I got to find me a persimmon beer. I found out that my great-grandfather used to brew his own persimmon beer.
Really?
Yeah, just like personal batch. So I feel like that's something I gotta do. My mom was telling me a bit about him.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, random thing. I found out that I have a great cousin that worked on the monorail Presidents of the Hull, like, and he got, like, when he died, got this write-up from this Disney VP. He was sent out to Tokyo, worked on a whole bunch of things, and I'll have to send you the article.
Yeah, dude. Send that.
Like, the monorail is mine. I don't know if I've ever told you this. Completely random and off topic, but the monorail is my ultimate retirement job. I want to drive that damn thing.
You know what
that is my goal in life right now.
I wanted to drive the boats out on the Seven Seas Lagoon, because those guys just drive guests on the little man-made lake and crack jokes.
You do that when you retire, and I'll ride around up above in the monorail, man. But yeah, my great cousin does it. Anyways, completely random.
Love it.
Beer that I have is one, damn good. I've already had it, and if you were paying attention, I think last night I shared it on the old Untaps. But one of my places of employment, Big Storm Brewing, came out with a whole bunch of new beers, a slick line of beers, and have actually moved from the 16-ounce cans to the 12-ounce cans, 6-packs.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and it's so new, it's not even up on their site yet with some of the beers they have. It's literally just a few weeks old, but prior to the CONCACAF game, second leg that Orlando City played against Calvary, I stopped in and saw them. I haven't stopped in a while. And then after the game, I went back and took home about 3 different 6-packs of 3 beers that are all new to the tap room, but some new can art, which I'll kind of show you here. And I'm going to save 2 of the other 6-packs to try to share them with Ron, and we'll try to have them on some future pods. But this one that I posted is a New England Hazy IPA. It's called Bromance. It's a part of the Bromance series, because obviously Bromosa we've had on the pod before, and it is a very, very good, probably our top seller there at Big Storm. Well, that's turning into a series now of beers with this similar can art that it got going on. It ranks, what is it, 2 on the malts out of 5, 4 on the hops out of 5, and 2 on the fruit.
It looks like our friend Phil posed for the can art.
It does look right. It does look like Phil posed for it. Absolutely does. But it's pink, really kind of slick new can art, that kind of a whole line, and I don't want to say a whole rebrand, but a lot of new fun stuff happening there. You head to bigstormbrewing.com. Like I said, it's so new that the beers aren't even fully updated yet on the site, but you can check out tap rooms, what we're doing with the distillery, a lot of bourbon and stuff coming out of there. So awesome. But this beer I had, we do IPAs well, but gosh darn it, this beer is awesome. I'll have to get Ron one to try. But again, it's a New England Hazy IPA, 6.5% on the old ABV, again in a 12-ounce can, and I'm looking forward to having this once again. This is so new. This was canned 1/29/24.
Oh, geez. Yeah, we got to do an exchange, man. I need some more Big Storm swag. My My shirt doesn't fit anymore. I've been doing good. It's too big.
I'll have to stop by. Yeah. The merch got hit pretty good, but there's still some stuff.
I'll have to do an exchange. Grab a couple of beers here, and I'll send and some t-shirts and send them down.
Absolutely, man.
Do an exchange. All right, sir. Shall we?
Yep. And I'm gonna do it in my Big Storm pint glass.
I'm doing this one out of the can. Ooh, that's a Berliner Weiss. Nice and sour. I like the Berliner Weiss sour because it's like a drinkable sour. And of course, like in Germany, when it's hot, like the Berliner Weisses are so popular. And if you've ever been like, I don't know, man, I'm not really sours. Berliner Weiss are okay. I say then wait till it's a hot summer day and it's like 90 some plus degrees, a high humidity. Get outside, crack a cold Berliner Weiss. I did that at a German beer garden once and was like, oh, I get it. It's so good. Like
it's all clear now. That's,
yep.
That's something that you and I get and a lot of beer enthusiasts out in the world get. That's not something that Ron gets.
No, he does
Which
not.
is why he's not on the pod for this episode.
Old sourpuss.
Really, but it's part of the reason why.
The Chelsea Blues sourpuss. Oh, man, this smells so good.
Oh, man, I cannot wait to have this again. I got a 6-pack of it and been waiting to reopen, and I even got a second one here right into my cooler to my right. Because I'm sure I'm going to fly through this one.
Cheers, man.
Sláinte. Oh, man.
Oh, whoa, that's awesome. You get the it's almost like sweet tarts without the sugar. Like sweet tarts implies something a little too sugary, but that tight sort of sourness you get right on the back of your tongue, it's good and sour like a Berliner Weiss, but the apricot, which is not a super sweet fruit, like it said, kind of mellows that out. Oh my gosh. My problem with this was a run where I got like 6 different beers, and I'm kind of upset that I don't have more of these. This is awesome.
Right. This beer, like I said, I enjoyed it so much. I wanted to get a 6-pack. It is just a smooth drinking, hazy IPA. Not too much bitterness. You could taste the hops, but it's not overpowering by any means. And a bit of that fruit, that like citrusy fruit taste to it. And it is like a beautiful Florida drinking New England hazy IPA. Well done to one of the employers, I should say.
Well, before hopping on the pod, I definitely did the last of my Fuzzy Baby Ducks New England IPA with a bit of
awesome.
I had a Feeman for some wings. So we totally did I just told you, I'm doing pretty good, man. I've lost a bunch of weight. I need a new shirt. Mine doesn't fit anymore. It's too big. But what did I do for dinner tonight? I was like, I want wings and jalapeno poppers.
Love it.
Totally just like threw down.
Love it.
Grabbed a New England IPA. Oh, it's delicious. Oh my God, dude. This beer is fantastic. Holy cow.
It sounds awesome.
Oh, it's good. It's good. And then the can popped a little bit just now. And yep, Blake's going to have to get a little alcohol wipe out and clean off his keyboard at some point. There we go.
There he is.
I don't know why I'm shocked, but there you go. It wasn't smelling enough like beer here in my new studio. All right. To the Carabao Cup, or as we like to call it, the Chupacabra Cup, and the Premier League. Well, it kind of feels like it's a little written in the stars. Not just out of the way Chelsea has been inconsistent, but I just thought there's no way, right? The Klopp doesn't get this. The Klopp goodbye tour had a great stop on Sunday at Wembley, and Jurgen Klopp and his injury-ridden Liverpool lift the first silverware of the season. It might have taken them 118 minutes, almost a verbatim replay of 2 Carabao Cups ago finals. Right. As they that one ended in penalties. Second half of the added extra time, Liverpool captain Virgil van Dijk headed home the cup winner, and this time it actually counted because, gosh, there were a lot of goals called back. As a Salalis and a Nunez-less and a Jota-less and a Ta-less and a
Slobosly-less. That one was hard.
That is a hard one.
Shubasly-less.
That is hard. Liverpool, just a lot of people injured. Which, if Ron were here, he'd go, we have a bunch of injuries too, but they beat out Chelsea by the scoreline of 1-0. overall thoughts?
Yes, Chelsea have a bunch of injuries. That's not anything new. The injury line, though, that if you actually look at it right now, it's more so than what the Chelsea's injury by about 3 right now. And they still had the Cole Palmer starting, the Gallagher, the Jackson, the Sterlings, Fernandez's, so on and so forth. So they still put out a good lineup. And listen, Chelsea played well in this match to keep Liverpool off the score sheet legally, I think, because that Van Dijk goal that we were talking about, really weird at first. You're like, how's that not a goal?
Yeah.
You watch it again. Endo is in an offside position and then essentially sets a pick for the defender guarding Van Dijk.
He doesn't
who puts it in.
Try to do it.
But he doesn't try for anything else but to get in the way. And
exactly.
It's kind of weird.
But that's why it looked at fast, And was this caught by VAR? Right?
It was, because at first you're going, well, who the heck was offsides? Like maybe it was Gakpo that was kind of in the position of the shot, but like, what are they looking at here? And then it took a couple times, and good for VAR for catching this, because you watch it and you're like, oh, now I see it. Now I know what they were calling the offside for.
But it took, it was not an obvious one at speed. As a matter of fact, in the days of no replay at speed, we probably would be going, oh man, I think that was kind of offsides afterwards, but probably not complaining too much,
Yeah.
But they played well. They put up a good fight. It's against Liverpool. To keep Liverpool, even with all those injuries, to keep Liverpool scoreless for 118 minutes is huge. The complaint from Chelsea fans, I will say, more so than anything, is people felt like in the extra time, Pochettino made the call to just play to penalties. Did it feel that way to you?
Yes. You take off Gallagher, you put in Dookie, and you take off Chilwell and Chalobah, 2 defensive-minded players, right? Gallagher actually had a pretty darn good game, probably the best for them. He was kind of all over the place. He had some chances that if he buries one of those, and they were good chances too. It's not like they were bad, like they were good chances. They had 4 big, Chelsea had 4 big chances in this game to Liverpool's 3. So about even, but those chances, Chelsea take them, and 2 of them there by Gallagher, and I want to say it was in either the really end of the game or the first half of the extra time. Because remember, they play two 15 minutes halves before they go to pens. Obviously, they only played 2 of those. Mudryk came on, and Njuku came on. They didn't really impact the game a whole lot. I can understand.
I gotta say, Mudryk and Caicedo feel like the 2 biggest bullets dodged for Arsenal coming out of that signing season.
Certainly, right now, it certainly seems and feels that way. Right?
Maybe in a different system they'd do better, but man, woof.
Yeah, and there was some. I saw some article this week that Mudryk was kind of in tears when he was flying over to London because the Arsenal deal fell through. It was something along those lines.
Blame that man. Of course he was. I mean, we know that. Of course he was.
Maybe he went and got a new neck tattoo.
He knew he was going to.
Then he felt better.
He knew he was going to have like 50 other guys sharing his locker with him. That's right. What he knew was going to happen.
But I don't blame Poch for just trying to see it out to pens, because in pens, who knows? I think they probably had the best keeper going into pens. I mean, Gallagher played well for Liverpool, but it's not Alisson, and Petrovic played well for Chelsea. Both of them had 2 of the highest ratings in the game at 8.4 and 8.2. So they played well. It was a 0-0 draw. So, yeah, you expect them to both play well. But it wasn't a boring 0-0 game, right? There was 23 shots in total by Liverpool, 19 by Chelsea, 9 on target for Chelsea, 11 on target for Liverpool. So, big chances missed. Like, pretty good game. Accurate on passes, pretty much right down the center. More fouls were committed by Liverpool, and more corners were taken by Chelsea, but not by great deal. And it was a fun 0-0 match. And you got to give Klopp credit in this for winning this match with essentially half of a starting lineup, if not more. And he did it with some young lads. Bradley, Elliott. He subbed on some guy by the name of Bobby Clark, some Jaden Dans, James McConnell, Gerald Quinsash. Like
it like
who?
a side that maybe looks like a first play of the FA Cup, and you're playing against
round 3 against
Pizza Hut FC. Like you're like, who are you? That's what that feels like. I pulled up this thing from the Independent for Rich Jolly. And there are a couple of things in here that just, they hit a little honestly. And our friend Ron isn't here, so it's easier to read these things and not look at his puppy dog eyes. But Rich Jolly in Independent wrote, by the end, it was the sort of side only seen on the pitch together in preseason friendlies. There was Jaden Dan, James McConnell, and Bobby Clark, who have 2 first-team starts at Liverpool between them. And they were taking on Chelsea, flush from spending $1 billion in the most expensive makeover in football history. But money couldn't buy Chelsea a trophy or the spirit, ambition, and resolve of Jurgen Klopp's Liverpool side. The first silverware of the season, the first of a possible quadruple, went to the kindergarten Klopps, to the kids who left Chelsea with a billion regrets. He added, the best player for $1 billion project was Conor Gallagher, who actually cost him nothing. None of their players bounced around in extra time with the enthusiasm of Dan's. McConnell looked more likely to pass than them, or more likely to pick a pass than them. And it was though they were scared of players they had never heard of. And to which he says the Todd Bailey era remains a complete failure. And Pochettino,
yes,
who never won any silverware of any kind at Spurs, it's not fair. The only silverware he has gotten is at freaking PSG.
Right. He hasn't won anything in England yet, right?
Yeah.
Which is the biggest, league in the world, that sort of thing. But it while a little bit harsh, reality, right?
It is. That's the thing. Like
situation and where everything's at. And I think I'll still stand by this, and I don't know if Ron will continue to, but I think Poch is the right person for this club to get them with at least the players that they have and this immense amount of cash that they spent and players at the disposal. You see something there, I think. They're a lot. I don't want to say they're a lot like United as a few years ago, because they're not. It's kind of almost two entirely different things, but you could see a little bit of something. Now, can they get it all together? Can they mesh it all together? And can Poch get them scoring consistently to win games?
But I think the Rich Jolly quote though is interesting, because he doesn't bash Pochettino. He's literally just saying this could create eventual repercussions for Pochettino, who hasn't won silverware. But he's not bashing him, because what he's bashing is that money spent in the plan to this point, which really didn't involve Pochettino.
Right.
So
yeah,
that's not him. I mean, Poch definitely inherited a really crappy situation. There is no manager, I think, was going to walk in to Pep Guardiola, whomever, to that mess and have a great season this year. I don't think.
Extremely difficult, right? I agree. I think he on the flip side of that, he knew what he was coming in for, right?
Yeah.
You saw what happened to Potter. You kind of saw the spending spree. It was all in the news of how much they've spent. Enticing in a way, right? You have a club that spent this much. You have so much at your disposal, I should say, of player picks that you can go for. You can't factor in injuries always, right? That's happening to a lot of clubs this year. I think it's a lot of just wear and tear of mid-season World Cup last season, these big summer tours, constant games, 4 or 5, just all these games, right? That these players are having to play, but you're still not seeing a distinct style of play for him, right? And that's where there's that question there of, will they have that? They're usually playing a 4-3-3, but sometimes they only have Fernandez and not Caicedo, so then it's a Fernandez, Gallagher, and Name me Maduki, whoever the hell, right? So you're not quite sure who exactly is there. You don't have a lot of your backs, right? You don't have James, who's always hurt. Badashal, Chukwuemeka. I mean, God, these names. How the hell did this hire the most random freaking names in the game? But there's something there, I think. You need a number 9. I like Nick Jackson. Is he going to cut it for them in the future? Probably not. Will they sell off Gallagher? In fairness, he's the only one that looks like he's given a damn most games at heart.
But they've cost him nothing, so they can make the most offset with him for selling him. What a crappy position to be in. But even though he'll get some premiums for his, like, clubs know Chelsea has to sell.
Yeah.
And that puts them in a really weird spot. Now, in the Premier League, if there are a couple of clubs that feel like he's a good fit, it may not matter. They could battle it out. Selling around to other European clubs, I think gets trickier because they're like, man, you need this.
Well,
you know.
And Gallagher will be easier because he's English, right? So most English players stay in England on a move, right? Most do. Yes, there are a few in the Serie A, a few in the La Liga, and that sort of thing that are doing well. A lot of those players, though, didn't always originate from the Premier League, right? Your Jude Bellinghams,
right.
Your Oakmans, and those type of things, kind of first off. So they have to sell. They have some players there that I think are quite tidy. It just, can Poch really get it all together? And will he be given time to, right? I think right now he will be, just because of the financial. They can't sack him. But how much longer if they are down? Where are they at right now in the league? They are in 11th. If they're in 11th still this time next season,
I think,
is he gone?
I think for sure it's probably not even at this time, dude. It's probably, if he's at 11th before Christmas, I don't know that.
Yeah.
If they don't go fighting for a top 6 spot, I say by Christmas they'll do something different.
Yep.
And the landscape may be as such that, and the rumors are already swirling that the front office is discussing. It wouldn't be for this year, but it would be for next. Well, obviously, I mean, they would let it play out this year, but I don't know. You could definitely see that situation changing really quick. I cannot believe it's taken some time. Not everyone's a believer, but it's wild to me that now there are a ton of Arsenal fans who, any group they're all wild online, are like, hey, I think we did okay with Havertz, actually, compared to like what we spent for him and compared to what Chelsea has spent for other players that aren't really doing anything. And I'm to me, that's wild. That's where we're at. I would never have guessed that.
Yeah. Wild. But congrats to Liverpool and Klopp. Well earned and first.
Yep. Hey, Chelsea's
silver of the season.
Chelsea's got a chance to play Liverpool in an FA Cup final if they can get all the way through. Look at that.
We'll get to the FA up here in a bit.
So we can rematch it there. All right. So should we move to our 2-minute drills then?
Why not?
Let me get my hand on the buzzer. All right.
Oh yeah, thank you.
Here we go. Aston Villa make it their second win in a row as they beat Nottingham Forest 4-2 on Sunday and open up a 5-point lead over Tottenham for that coveted 4th spot. We asked the obvious, can Villa hang on to 4th? I think I said this the last pod. They are both struggle with consistency, but I think Villa might be inconsistent just a little less.
Mm-hmm.
But it's going to be close. I think it will be very close.
I think it will too, but my mind might be changing here. It might be swaying a bit because Villa are that consistent. They are that solid. They are.
It would shock you if they dropped a couple of games in a row and screwed this up. You would be really surprised by that. Like,
yeah, and I mean, having a look at their upcoming fixtures, there's a big one. Sunday, March 10th against Tottenham. If they beat Tottenham, who right now are 5 points behind them, because odds are they'll beat Luton, not guaranteed, this Saturday at Luton, so not guaranteed. But then they have Ajax, really big club in Europe, playing in the Europa Conference League midweek, and then that Sunday is when they play Tottenham, and then they have Ajax again in the reverse league. Then they go West Ham, Wolves, Man City. That's not an easy run, but if they can beat Tottenham, you get that ball rolling. You get a little bit more confidence there. West Ham is beatable. Wolves is beatable. You beat both of them, and then you take on City, and you gain maybe 6, 7, 8 points, 9 points going into City. I think you're pretty much going to stay there. But you got to beat Tottenham. You beat Tottenham, that will draw the line a little bit more. If you lose to them, now Tottenham are back to probably 2 points behind. So big match. I'm going up on the 10th, so we'll see.
Oh. Sorry, I'm not used to
Thank
this.
you. I was going to talk. I was like, I'm missing something. Brighton earn a point despite being down a man to Everton as Lewis Dunk scores late in the 95th. There was some center back goals in that game, as Brathwaite, I think, scored for Everton in the first half. But the real news surrounding this match and Everton this week came earlier in the week when it was announced that Everton's point deduction was reduced from 10 points to 6 points following their appeal.
Immediately put them in 15th.
I mean, it's big because, yes, it brings them much more safer out of the relegation zone. And actually, with that draw, they would be in the relegation zone because Luton would be on 20 points and they would have been in 19 points.
Absolutely.
So, yes, very big for them. Now, the other thing you have to think about is while that was a successful appeal, they still have a looming charge
Do you
at hand.
think I literally saw when I saw that went, oh, they took 4 points away and it's only a 6 point. Then I thought, oh God, it's because they think they're going to charge them and drop them 4 points for the for the appeal, or like
that's
10.
Not funny, but
you know what I mean though. Like it's you're kind of wonder like, oh, geez, I wonder if they know they are going to get tagged with the next one. So maybe it's 6 and 6 and it's like 12 because they're setting a bit of precedence, right? So you feel like they've at least got to do 6, wouldn't they?
I don't know. I don't think you can. Is will they be able to get it out? Right? Will they be able to get? Will the who is it? The FA, the Premier League? I don't know. Will they be able to get out that next punishment in time for the season to end? I don't know. But if you're Sean Dyche, you can't. You just got to keep as many points as you can.
Yeah.
Just as many points as you can between now and the end of the season. Stay up. Hope that it gets you as far away from that relegation so that if you do get to deuce points, somehow you stay up.
Sorry, I'm really bad at this 2-minute drill. All right. Oliver Glasner's Crystal Palace managerial post started off well as his side get a 3-0 win over 10-man Burnley. I mean, that's a heck of a first club to coach against on your first game in as a manager. Is this a premonition of the end of the season? Palace will sure stay up and Burnley will sure go down. Yeah, man. I can't. I mean, they're toast. They're toast.
I think this is kind of this is the gap that spreads between a 13th place team and a 19th place team, right?
I mean, Sheffield and Burnley being at 13 points. Negative 44 for Sheffield, negative 33 goal differential for Burnley.
Luton, who nobody thought was going to do anything, thought it would be dead last. And yes, all 3 of those teams just came up, but Luton on 20 points, 7 points ahead of each of those. That's 3 games.
Yeah.
Because you can't get 7 from 2 games, right? My math is somewhat correct on this pod.
Yep.
I think, yes, I think Palace are going to be fine.
Yeah.
They got to get, 12 more points for that official 40 mark to consider themselves safe. But Burnley need a miracle at this point, I think, to get up. I don't think they're officially down, but they need a lot.
Do you think they'll keep their manager, who did a great job coming out of Man City. Why am I forgetting his name?
Vincent Kompany.
Thank you, Vincent Kompany. Yeah, do you think?
Yeah, I don't see why you wouldn't.
I think he'd follow them back down to the championship.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
too. I don't see why you wouldn't.
Yeah. But Wolf, not so good. Where does that get us to? Does that get us to Fulham? No. It's your turn, not my turn. It's your turn to do this. That's why
Fulham. Fulham get their first win over Manchester United at Old Trafford in something like over 20 years. I don't know, there's you throw out all the stats. As the Cotters get a late Alex Iwobi goal in the 97th minute for a much deserved 2-1 win. United thought they were going to snatch it back with a good old Harry Maguire goal with his feet instead of that big old Shrek head that he got. But Alex Iwobi, great counter. Fulham got there, boom, goal. Great again. Fulham absolutely deserved the win here, no doubt. But now a lot of news is just lingering out there as a bit of afters are kind of playing out between the clubs and social media accounts, and Ten Hag coming out today and asking for Fulham to apologize. It's just kind of
I'm a little lost on that. Like what?
Yeah, same as well. So there was a play in the match essentially where Bruno went to take a shot from the outside, I think, from outside the box, and was he touched? There was some controversy if he was or wasn't. I think he was. Did he do a Bruno and pretend like he got shot and he lost a leg and all? Yes, 100%. He rolled around, then not immediately, but after the play ended and whatever occurred, it was going to be a corner. I don't know what exactly occurred after that. I can't remember. He kind of got up and then just started to complain at the ref. So I guess I didn't see it. Fulham put something on their TikTok account. It was posted a clip of Fernandez on the ground after the second half challenge, and then dubbed with the comedic music that captioned "So glad he's okay," accompanied by the eye roll emoji.
Why? Wait, what's Ten Hag complaining about?
It is kind of. You can't be too mad at that. It's cheeky, right?
Right. Well, because look, if there was a legitimate potential injury that he got up quick from, but I mean,
for how fast he got up and stuff, was he touched? Yes, I think he was, but was it enough for him to cause what he usually does and rolls around that sort of thing? No, I don't think so. But anyway, so I guess Ten Hag today and something. After the FA Cup or leading into the weekend, I don't know, was then asked about Fulham's post on Thursday and replied, "I didn't know this, but if they did it, it's not right. Absolutely not right for a club to make such a statement. Totally out of order, wrong. They should apologize for this."
Oh, I'm seeing all this. Yeah, he's really angry.
Yeah. So I get it to an extent, right? Like, should the club be doing this? Is more, I guess, what he's getting to.
Look, there's social media,
official club's Twitter, not like a pundit, not a Sky Sports, not that type of thing, but from the official club account. I don't know. Just laugh it off and be done with it.
But I mean, so this was a TikTok video. I've seen cheeky tweets and stuff from clubs. I mean,
it's. And listen, I like Fulham. They're kind of my second or third club there in the league, but they haven't beat United at Old Trafford in 20 some years. Like, they're just over the moon right now. Big points for them.
That's the problem.
Let him be a little bit.
If Ten Hag had won
just get over it.
If Ten Hag had won the match, fine. But it feels weird him complaining about that, which was a flop. Was it a flop? I don't know. If he got touched, it's not. But it just get over it. You just, if you're asked about it, no, I didn't see it. They won the match. They haven't beat us in 20 some years. We play 9 out of 10 games. We're probably going to win 9. Yeah.
Or we play 10 games. We're probably going to win 9 out of 10.
I'm terrible.
Good for them. Congrats, and let's move on.
I'm terrible at 2-minute drill, but is Ten Hag good for next year?
A lot of talk right now of Zidane's meeting with Sir Jim. We'll see. Zinedine Zidane meets with Sir Jim. I like Ten Hag a lot. called for him to be there. I still want him there. But if Zidane's in the talks, woohoo, heads turn quickly with that one. That's like that meme where you're the guy and the girl are like walking down the street and So that
looking,
that's a that is a look if Zidane's in the mix.
I agree. More power balls in the league. Boom. Phil Foden's goal in the 24th minute was enough as Man City earned all 3 points away on the South Coast to a hard-fought Bournemouth. Man, looked like Bournemouth was going to pull something off. Another narrow victory for City. Nervous Liverpool fans? I think they're probably more nervous, not off of this, but watching Haaland score 5 goals.
Yeah, midweek, which we'll talk about here, the FA Cup.
That's...
Foden, great goal here. Man of the match. City are they're doing what champions do right now. And that's winning these type of games. Whether it's 1-0, whether chipping it, it's not the best style of play. It's not the most expansive. It's not scoring 5 goals like they did in midweek, but they're getting the 3 points. And that continues. Those 3 points continue to put pressure on teams. That's what they did last year with Arsenal. That's what they did several years back when they beat United to the title. And continue those teams behind you. And right now, Manchester City are behind Liverpool. Continue to pile points, even with you. That puts pressure and pressure and pressure as we get more and more into the season. And with we just did 26, so we got 12 more
and it's
match weeks left. That's a lot.
But it's wild. I mean, we've asked to have this for a while and haven't gotten it. But Liverpool at 60 points, 26 games. Man City 26 games, 59 points. Arsenal at 58 points, 26 games played. That's awesome. I mean, we've asked.
It is
to
that
have
3-headed dog that protects Hades or what is it?
Cerberus. Heck yeah, man.
Cerberus.
Yeah. So this is a fun season. Nervy if you like one of these 3 teams, but it's definitely like a fun season. And man,
Absolutely.
Villa back at 52 points. I don't know that anybody above them is really going to screw things up, but that bad. But man, it's a good one.
Mm-hmm. Wolves 1, Sheffield United 0. Yep. We're going to move on to the next match.
I was just wondering why you had yourself twice. All right.
Well, to set you up for the end, but before we get there.
The Wolves do have, I will say, they moved up in the power rankings for the Premier League, whatever that means that they always put on Facebook. Yeah.
Great. Power rankings mean absolutely all when it comes to the actual Premier League table. But anyways, West Ham get back to winning ways courtesy of a Jared Bowen hat trick as they beat London rival Brentford 4-2 at London Stadium on Monday night, a Monday night match. Wonderful hat trick by Jared Bowen. They scored early. It was 2 actually early from Bowden here. I want to say in the first 10 minutes. Yeah, 5 and 7th. It's kind of back to back. Boom, boom. But they scored early, kept Ivan Toney off the score sheet. Moy still got it, eh?
Yeah. I mean, they have had some weird setbacks lately. They should beat Brentford, but Brentford
because Brentford's 5 points from safety down in 16th place, and West Ham are up in 8th. So yes, they should from the look at the table, but
Brentford has also given some bigger teams trouble here and there. So, yes, Moyes still got it. West Ham is still fine. It's just weird. Isn't it like every other year we're like, oh man, I think West Ham's gonna be fighting for that top 6, and then that based on the previous season, and then the next year they bleh.
Or they start off kind of hot. Kind of what they did this season. It's for me. It's always if you're going to call for somebody to be sacked, right? If West Ham fans are calling somebody to be sacked, who are you going to bring in? Realistically, though, you're not bringing in a Zidane. You're not bringing in a Klopp. You're who are you going to bring in after that? You might get somebody from an Eredivisie league, a Portugal league, even a Steve Bruce or somebody that's kind of known.
Howe?
But are you going to get anybody that's going to be as good as Moyes that won you silverware last year?
Eddie Howe? I don't think Eddie Howe's going to be in Newcastle.
You know what? That's a great shout. If Newcastle decide to move on,
and I could
then I think you're more enticed to move on from Moyes. Yes, that's not a bad shout. But right now, both are employed.
He's still right now, the odds favorites are Vincent has changed. Well, it's tied. Vincent Kompany and David Moyes are tied right now, 3-1 odds for the next Premier League manager to go, with Mauricio Pochettino and Eddie Howe bringing that right up.
Poch's still in there.
Yep. It goes Vincent Kompany, David Moyes, Chris Wilder, Poch, Eddie Howe, Ten Hag, and Sean Dyche. Right now is the list in order. So, yeah, sure. They should be. I just think they should be way better than they are for what they have on paper.
Agreed.
And finally, for the last result that we are going to talk about today, for the match of the weekend, our double time as we go. Wait, let me just rewind. I think my brain just fell out of my ears. Finally, for the last result in what was the Premier League matchup of the weekend, we will double our time and go 4 minutes as we talk about Arsenal's one for every goal scored 4-1 defeat of Newcastle, this time with far less controversy. After mustering no shots midweek in Champions League and a loss to Porto, Arsenal regained their shooting boots as they pretty much exit Newcastle United from the top 4 talk now.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good
they do.
Way of phrasing
it's done for them.
I agree.
I think Arsenal put the nail in the coffin. Newcastle now down to 10th, by the way. And when you look at it here, it's all to the red. 55% possession, expected goals, double 2.86 over what Newcastle had. 18 total shots, 8 shots on target, 3 big chances opposed to 0 for Newcastle. 472 passes with an 85 pass percentage, 9 corners, 2-0 from Newcastle. We actually watched this. A friend of the pod, Phil, and friend of the pod, Caitlin, before the City match on Saturday. I actually went to the Kelt and watched this match. Phil happy, Caitlin not. At the start of it, I said, "Hey, I'm gonna do a shot of Jameson and a lovely pint of ice cold Guinness." But my team's aren't. I'm here to have fun. Maybe let's go. I said, "Does anybody else want a shot?" Phil, off of a rough night the night before, no, I'm good. Caitlin, no, I don't want to start. Then I'm good. About 10 minutes to go in the match. What does Caitlin order? Shot of Jameson.
Well,
okay.
I mean,
it's time for that shot after this.
I can't blame her. I felt bad. I was like, oof, man. I mean, Arsenal, they were on fire and at this point, like, because of their scoring into 2024, Arsenal actually have the best goal differential in the league at 39 goals. Liverpool have 38 with 33 on Man City.
I mean, they've 5-0 through 8-0, 4-1s. They've had some big score lines
for 2024.
Since the start of the new year.
Not doing FA Cup, but just going to just Premier League. So January 20th looks like it's the first match in 2024. Mm-hmm. That's 5-0 to 5-0 over Crystal Palace, 2-1 over Nottingham, 3-1 over Liverpool, 6-0 over West Ham, 5-0 over Burnley, and then 4-1 to Newcastle. The next match against Sheffield United weirdly has me nervous because we've just done so well against everybody, and so then I
think you guys will be just fine.
I know whenever you play like that worst team and you're on a roll, it freaks me out. I don't know. There's I get nervous, but
it would be that would I can't. Let me hold on while we're talking on air as you continue to talk. I'm gonna look up the odds right now on what that game would be.
Look those up. That's a crazy amount of goals scored. Arsenal look like they are firing on all cylinders in these matches. Thomas Partey, I believe, is back for the next match. They say he's back.
I mean, you guys really need him, to be honest, right?
But it's just nice to have. Look, it's nice to have a little cushion, right? The depth isn't that big. You must have found the odds. What are the odds?
A $5 bet for Sheffield United to win the game would be a $65 payout at plus 1,200 odds.
Jeez. Yeah.
Arsenal are minus 600 to win right now. You get plus 600, which even that alone is good odds for Sheffield to even tie the game.
Whew. It's weird. I think I texted you guys this. I said, last season, we sat at the top of the Premier League for like 95% of the season. However, I feel like we have a better team this year.
I think absolutely you do because of Declan Rice.
Yeah.
He protects that back four and makes them look good. You see the goals that. Well, did Gabriel score in this game again? Right, he did. It was a Botman own goal, but
yes.
essentially, the center backs are like scoring again, right? For them, he protects them. He links play. He is worth every penny that was spent. And it was a lot of pennies that were spent for 100 mil. But yes, in terms of a better team, Blake, I would agree with you. I think it's also, it's Arsenal are in a good spot, right? Because you're chasing down the top two. It's like being in that race and there's two runners ahead of you and they're right next to each other. But that for third place is just right behind them. But then two trips one and two fall down, and then three just blazes past, right? That's always that possibility just sitting there within that grasp of one bad, Liverpool draw the week and Man City lose a game, and Arsenal win. They're top of the table right now. So it's very tight up there.
And
Arsenal are in a good spot.
And who have Arsenal beaten? They've beaten Liverpool and Man City this year.
Yes. You got to play Man City again at Man City, which will be a massive game. And do we know when that game is? Have we looked that up yet?
Is that one of the ones that got rescheduled? March 31st.
Oh, end of March.
Yeah.
Crucial time. Yeah. Oof. That'll be a good one.
Yeah, it's end of March, and are we done with Liverpool? Right? I believe so.
I think so. You guys played them 5 times in the course.
I know, so many times.
A month.
So yeah, the Chelsea match for the St. Paddy's Day weekend got postponed because of the FA Cup. But Arsenal have a pretty decent schedule. I mean, that's a big one. Villa's a big one. Tottenham it doesn't matter. That always a big game. And then Man United as a next to last match. We end the season with Everton, which is funny because Everton effed it up for us before.
That's 2 tough ones, right?
Yeah.
You got Man United at Old Trafford, who could be trying to fight still for a top 4, and those are just always good games. And then you have Everton, who could be fighting for Premier League survival. Not easy. It could be. History has told us that most of those have been figured out by at least that last week, but still, that's.
And the North London Derby. Yes, it's going to be a North London Derby, which is always chippy, but also it's one where Tottenham will be fighting for that 4th spot as well, or a spot in the top 4. So, it's a tough run, but I do feel like we have a better team. The Porto match was weird. It's just like we couldn't finish. They actually did an okay game with a few of the players, but just could not finish. I feel good about the second leg. We'll see what happens. That felt like an aberration, and it was sandwiched between 2 really strong matches. So, but I agree. I think Newcastle are done out of the top 4. I think that's where I think maybe they do something different than Eddie Howe for next season, just because they got that money to splash. That's what I think. All right, Ferris. That's you.
That's me. Oh my gosh. Yes. Sorry. I just didn't want to talk about it that much because I don't know what the hell's going to happen. No, we'll look real quick. This weekend, though, the premier match, as we're recording here on Thursday, is the Manchester Derby taking place on Sunday at 10:30 a.m. Yeah, a lot injured for United still. Luke Shaw out for the season. Martinez out until mid-March. Wan-Bissaka out. We don't have any sort of defense. You know what? Up until the Fulham match, I forgot Mason Mount was even on the team still.
Oh, dude. I'm looking at your injury list. I was just thinking the same thing.
Jeez.
Oh, Holland is out, right?
Rasmus Højlund, after that great thing, all of a sudden picks up a muscle injury. Now he could be out till mid-March. And then Malacia. So we don't have any backs. We have Victor Lindelof playing. This should be a pretty solid win for Man City. It shouldn't really be that much of. I mean, it's a Manchester Derby, right? So it's always going to be competitive to an extent, somewhat. But City rolling 5 goals from Holland in the FA Cup at the Etihad. we'll see. The big thing here, though, and why I wanted to talk about this is Man City's next match, though. Liverpool. So they go Manchester Derby this Sunday.
That's the one.
Midweek Champions League first leg. Or is that the second leg?
And just like in years past, they're playing you with a bunch of injuries, and when we finally get that big Liverpool match, Liverpool's got a bunch of injuries.
Yeah, and then they play Liverpool. They go away to then they go Newcastle and Brighton. So a pretty tough run for Man City here, all things considered. Now they do play Newcastle in the FA Cup, but so some tough matches, and looks like 2 games every week from here on out. So that was more why I wanted to talk about the derby, is who they got next and who they got after, because this is kind of that stretch where they pick up wins on this, then it starts to ease off a bit, and they can kind of, I won't say put it into cruise control, but they're a little bit more confident rolling into the last 5 or 6 games of the season. So I'm going to predict a 2-2 draw. That is a pipe dream. But
I would love that. I do think that is a situation where they are the right players, have gotten healthy again on their team at the right time for the right games that are coming up. And I'll say this, though, even with Liverpool's injuries, I still believe a wild card in this situation is Klopp's victory tour, leaving. And I think that does just add some pep in the step. Yep. There's something to that.
Do you know? Yes, agreed. That besides the Sheffield and Arsenal game, United have the second worst odds of the weekend.
Oof. Well, I mean, it doesn't shock me with how.
Right. So the United are plus 750 to win the game, and City are minus 375. So a $5 bet for United would pay out $42.50. That says it all.
Yeah, it does. All right, Ferris, you going to roll us into some fun NWSL news since we do not have the
whistle.
Oh yeah, tweet for halftime. Since we don't have our Prince of Pierogies and Prince of Slim Jims, the Sultan of Slim Jims.
No, the I don't even know, the jolliest of Jims.
Jolliest of Jims.
All right. Before I get into this, I'm going to pour myself another beer because, oh, God almighty, that New England Hazy IPA bromance from Big Storm is damn good.
I wish I had more of this Berliner Weiss. I am nursing this because it tastes so good. I don't want to finish it off. So what's your fun NWSL news?
So yesterday I went to the kit party for the Orlando Pride, which released 2 kits. So the home, they're calling it not the Phantom. There's something purple kit. Phoenix kit. So it's a Phoenix home purple kit, and then the one that kind of was making buzz for various things is the Florida citrus kit. This very orange, peachy looking orange field, orange groves type of kit. It looks better in person. I'm not sold on it though.
I like it, man. I like it because I like something that is about where it's from, the citrus state. Like I like when, in an age where why is Arsenal in a bruised yellow banana? I don't know, but they are. I mean, so in an age like where none of that matters. I don't know. I think it's cool when it's something that ties into the local. I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I agree. I love the hows and whys behind it. I'm not sold on it yet. Also, I'm not sold on it because the name or the names and numbers they look to be printing on the back of it is this like light silver, light gray. So it doesn't really. It's gonna be really hard to see. It's really hard to tell.
Fair enough
on the field. But while there, it's very cool. They've been doing it for at least the past 2 years. I've gone to it, but a small event. You have to RSVP. The players are just freely walking around. There's hors d'oeuvres, a cash bars of photo opportunities. You can buy the new kit, yada yada yada. They get up and they talk, that sort of thing. It's cool. It's chill. It's a very, very chill thing. But I was at the Orlando Historical Center in downtown yesterday.
A whole like league wide refresh too with kids and stuff.
Yes, whole league wide. So check out the NWSL site. They all were released this past Tuesday. Some very cool ones out there. But anyways, I was at this thing, and over the years and working downtown for a bit, I've gotten to know some of the Orlando soccer club staff, just some of the reps and account folks and that sort of thing. And one of them came over and asked me if I would take part in something to help the club. And of course, I'll do anything for these clubs and help out. But to my right, and I'll show you here, Blake, I have a bag full of about 10 scarves or so. And my mission is to take part in Scarf the City. So I have 10 scarves. It's presented by Pepsi. And this Wednesday, March 6th, all day across Orlando, you can follow on social at Orlando Pride to find scarves hidden around the city. Each scarf will come with a prize. So my mission is to hide scarves around Orlando.
I love it.
And either post them to my account or send them off to the Pride, and their socials will post it. So I got 10 scarves here presented by Pepsi. Kickoff to soccer, Scarf the City. And you can head over to OrlandoCitySC.com. And it says, kick off the new Pride season with us on Wednesday morning. Scarf the City, presented by Pepsi, will make its return with the Orlando Pride, set to create the ultimate surprise and delight scavenger hunt for the 4th time in club history. More than 3,000 scarves will be distributed across Central Florida, with the club picking iconic locations and local communities to scatter and hide the scarves for fans to find. Beginning at sunrise, fans will be able to use social media to pinpoint scarf locations and share their finds using hashtag #PepsiScarfTheCity. Those who snag a scarf will receive an exclusive ticket deal for the Pride's home opener on March 2nd against Angel City FC, and will have the opportunity to win prizes courtesy of Pepsi. 3 grand prizes will be awarded to fans that post photos with the scarf and hashtag #PepsiScarfTheCity, and several other winners will be randomly selected from those that entered their information through the QR code attached to the scarves. So Akiola will serve as the main hub for activation, with hundreds of scarves available around the lake at the Walt Disney Amphitheater starting at 7 a.m. Also, they name a couple of the local spots: Zaza's Cafe, Flippers Pizza, and other Pepsi food service partners will also scarves have available for fans to find at select locations around Orlando. Like I said, you can head over there and look at this. You can kind of see what the scarf looks like. I said I got about 10 here that are all wrapped that I'm going to have to probably go in before work on Wednesday, go in, just drive around and place some in some various spots around town. But very cool to be asked to help out the club and do this. And I'll probably be posting on my socials. I'll tag the Brewtiful Game in it as well, and just keep an eye on the Orlando Pride's socials. And if you're around the Orlando area and can spot where that's at, find a scarf. If you DM me or something,
that's awesome.
Might give you a little hint.
I love that, man. That's cool.
Yeah, so very, very cool. And when we left the thing yesterday, man, we got something cool. So you're gonna be jealous of this, Blake. A koozie. Orange Grove Orlando Pride koozie.
That's awesome. Got to take a
sticker.
You got to take a picture of those just for the pod as well.
And the magnet.
Oh,
cool
the
magnet, man.
The magnet stickers look awesome, dude. Those are great.
Right. Very, very cool. So,
I may have to order some of those. That's pretty awesome. I think that orange kit's going to sell pretty well.
It's cool, man. It's cool. But yeah, I'll get this up on our socials as well. Fun event. If you're anywhere near an NWSL club, go. Just go. It's fun. It's awesome. Support the team. Support the town. Support the girls that are just working their asses off. Awesome players. Just a fun game. And it's just a great league that is continuing to grow. So absolutely support your local NWSL club.
So, obviously I don't live in Tennessee anymore, but while I was there, I was enjoying the US, you made me think about this, the USL, championship club, One Knox down there.
Yes.
Gonna be an ESPN. Did you see their new kit? Made me think about it.
No, I haven't yet. Let me Google that real quick.
I just sent it your way. It's looking on the thread.
Oh, did you?
It's that, it's the part of the design is there's a tower in Knoxville from the World's Fair when it was held there. And it's like this just geodesic dome kind of thing on top of the tower. So it's cool,
that
right?
gives very there's a second time we're going to mention them on the pod, but a very Epcot-esque kit.
Yeah, that's why it's at geodesic dome, just like
geodesic dome. I love it.
The
yes.
one at the Sphere at Epcot. But it's cool, right? And if do you know what I'm talking about? That tower that's in Knoxville. You've been to Tennessee games up there, right? It's like this gold ball, like a golf ball.
Yes. It's been years ago, but yeah.
So in the main square, with a lot of festivals and stuff are held there. It's kind of an icon in the middle of the city. Just a cool kit. Look it up.
Sweet kit.
One Knox,
sweet kit. Yeah,
their new kit, and it's cool because having
share
watched
that
them
on online too, dude. That's awesome.
Oh yeah, and plus what's cool is they were part timers 2 years ago. Last year was their first full time league, and now while I liked the prior kit, this feels like their first real pro kit. Even though the other ones actually look good, I think this looks, it's unique. It's got its own identity. So, and they just, the USL Championship, they just renewed their contract with ESPN. So you can catch those clubs on ESPN.
Awesome, man.
Shall we get to our La Liga's roundup?
Oh. We really need a sound effect on your board.
I know. I've got to get the whoosh and the whistle. I keep forgetting to add it.
Oh, all right. So for the Liga's roundup, whoosh, thank you. The who, what, and when of the FA Cup. Weird midweek matches just because of fixture congestion. But I'll first kind of give you the results, and then Blake will give you the quarter final round draw, and then we'll kind of tell you when those are happening. But in terms of the results, on Tuesday is when they started to play this round. Liverpool beat Southampton 3-0. Wolves beat Brighton and Hove 1-0. Manchester United, courtesy of a Casemiro late header, beat Nottingham Forest 1-0. And then Chelsea just outlasted Leeds as they won 3-2 on the day. Goals by Jackson. Mudryk with the rare one in there. And then a Gallagher 90 minute. So very late goal to see it because it was tied 2-2 at the time. But Gallagher finally gets on the score sheet and advances them into the next round. Then all those games are on Wednesday. Apologies. On Tuesday, we're going to go in reverse order. On Tuesday, Manchester City beat Luton Town by a score of 6-2 with the aforementioned Erling Haaland scoring 5 of those.
The Terminator.
Oh, and by the way, De Bruyne had 4 of those assists.
Yeah, the Terminator's back. Ugh.
And it's only in front of a Kenilworth Road attendance of 11,000. But my God, 5 goals. It's not like it's against a lower league team. This is against Luton. I mean, yes, they're lower in the Premier League, but they're what? Out of the entire clubs in England, they're currently ranked 19th out of all of the teams in England.
It's not Liverpool playing Norwich.
Right. It's worse than that.
That's what I'm saying.
It'd be like Liverpool playing Plymouth Rock or whatever that team is. Argyle, right?
Right.
One of those. Then also on Tuesday, Newcastle and Blackburn went 1-1, but no replays in this 5th round, and Newcastle won on penalties 4-3. And Leicester City, who's doing quite well in the championship.
Welcome back to Premier League.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Beat Bournemouth by a score of 1-0, courtesy of a 105th minute goal, as they had to look like they went to extra time in Asuaku goal. And Paul Tierney was the head ref on that one. On Monday, it was not Maidstone Monday as the 16th seed, if you will. The fairy tale got absolutely smoke showed, and not by a Premier League team, but by Coventry City, who just piled it on them quick and scored too late just to shove it in there a little bit.
Heck of a run. Yeah, we don't really have. Is that now just Premier League and Championship teams left in this?
Yeah. No, Coventry. Where's Coventry at? Are they where? They might be in League One. Let me look real quick. Coventry City. Oh, they are a proud member of the championship. So no, yeah, you're right.
So it's all.
They're currently 9th in the championship. So I think it might be the lowest seed club in there with 9th in the championship. Yeah, because Leicester's doing quite well. Newcastle beat Blackburn. So yeah, just one championship team and the rest are all Premier League teams.
So that moves us over to the draw.
What's the draw look like, man?
All right. So the draw is Wolverhampton Wanderers are going to face the aforementioned Coventry City. That's a pretty good draw for both teams, actually, I feel like.
Yeah, I think
out of
gives Coventry a chance there, right? They're not playing one of the main dogs, but yeah.
And same for the Wolves, I think.
Yeah,
except
absolutely.
Maybe Wolves would have wanted to play Chelsea, maybe. But so the Wolves and Coventry, with Man United, they pick up Liverpool.
Yeah, that's hopefully their injury list is as long as ours when we get to that game. And
it evens itself out. Number 3 draw, Chelsea versus Leicester City. Has a championship team ever had odds favorite to beat the Premier? We should look that up.
I don't know if those odds are out.
Because
yet. Sure they are, but
if I had to bet, I'm betting for Leicester in this match.
Oh, I'll look.
And then Man City drew Newcastle United. So also that's a pretty good one.
Yeah, that's a good one. Probably not the one that Manchester United, or I'm sorry, that Manchester City would want, but I don't think they really care. Okay, Leicester are not the favorites.
For what's the odds?
They're sitting at plus 525 right now, where Chelsea has a minus 222. That line's probably going to change a bit, but you're probably still going to get Chelsea the favorites. I want to say they're at home too, so that's those odds are going to swing a little bit in those favors. But yeah, good draw. I don't think, unfortunately, this is such a. We need to now watch the FA Cup every next round because it's getting into just Premier League teams playing. So unless you're really fans of those teams or just bored on a Saturday and want to watch something, it's just not. There's nothing really juicy there. Man United, Liverpool, probably that's just always a good game, right?
I mean, look, if Coventry can make it to the semifinals and play at Wembley, that'd be huge.
Well, then we're talking, right?
Yeah.
If Coventry and Leicester both advance, now we're talking, and people are going to start paying attention. But if both of them get knocked, then it's just Premier League teams, and the Premier League team's going to win.
What if Chelsea end up firing a coach of the year into the season in 13th to win the friggin' FA Cup or something?
It's possible. Hell, they almost won the Chupacabra Cup.
It's true. It's true.
Yep.
Or they end up in a final against Liverpool again.
Right. And those quarterfinal games will be happening the day before St. Patty's on Saturday the 16th. The quarterfinal games with the semifinals happening a month after on April 20th. And then a month after that, as kind of the last game in the season, Saturday, May 25th, the final of the FA Cup.
It's my birthday weekend. Get some FA Cup semifinal action.
There you go, man. Let's move over across the pond to MLSsoccer.soccer.soccer.com and its first weekend, which was super fun. Ron and I attended.
We'll try to keep the gas on this a little bit. We're not too bad. We're a little behind. We're doing pretty good.
Yeah. Ron and I attended the match. It was a 0-0 game, fun match. Good to see Nicholas Adero out there in a purple jersey. Kind of weird because you've seen him so much in that green for years, but he got his first goal for the club actually in the Champions League. It's fun to see, man. We were sitting right there. I was sitting behind the goal, right where that ball went in. A lovely goal by him. But anyways, it was a 0-0 match here in Orlando against Montreal, but Ron and I certainly enjoyed the game. The whole league started off on, as we were talking last pod, with the Inter Miami and Real Salt Lake game on Wednesday. Miami did win 2-0 on the day, so they started off the season top of the table. I saw somebody put something like, they're Messi and Miami top the table already, and there was just a whole bunch of these laughters. I mean, like, they're the only ones that played so far.
Yeah.
But a lot of games on
fair
Saturday. Right. Now, Apple TV Plus doing an awesome job again. They're kind of splitting these games up a little bit more, right? They're not all at 7:30. There was a couple of 4s. There's a couple of I think 2 o'clocks, and then the late games were kind of all over the place. And then a couple on Sunday where Inter Miami actually played again. They kind of got the raw end of the deal. But listen, when you have Messi on your team, you're going to want to be showcased every opportunity for those main times to watch in the league. But getting to the games on Saturday, we'll quickly run through these. Columbus 1-0 over Atlanta. So the former champs start off quite well in the lower.com field with a 1-0 win. LAFC beats Seattle 2-1. Charlotte.
That's a good one.
That is a good one. 1-0 for old Dean Smith, and not the basketball coach, by the way. I know we're going to say that probably a lot this season.
I mean, he's coaching in North Carolina, so I mean, like, you kind of, you have to.
You just got to deal with it, right? But yeah, a good result from them. Are we seeing like New York City kind of going down a little bit here? Because remember, they didn't make the playoffs last year, and right out the gate losing to kind of a decent side, I'd say. And Charlotte's made a couple of good moves, the biggest being obviously their coach, which we've talked about, but not a good way for New York to start off the season. So very, very good win there by Charlotte. Then you have DC United. I just lost it there. DC United 3-1 over the Revs of New England. And Wayne Rooney-less DC, but Christian Benteke, star of the match and star of the week, if you will, with a hat trick. Yes, that Christian Benteke, about 10 minutes after the second yellow and red card for the Revs, but nonetheless, he still got that hat trick. Foot Mob rated him a 9.8. That's a pretty high.
Yeah.
That's pretty much top notch there. But DC United getting away with the win there, 3-1. We talked about Orlando City and Montreal here in Orlando. Both are good teams. Montreal, a team that's going to sneak up on some folks. Orlando City, you're probably a better team overall, and long season. Philadelphia Union and Chicago Fire, 2-2. Didn't really get a chance to see a whole lot of this match, but we went through our preview, talked a little bit about how Chicago Fire are going to be better this year, and they were. It took a really late Daniel Gazdag goal for the Union to get that tied in the 93rd minute of play. So the Union, I think Ron, was saying they're going to be on a bit of a downswing. I think it was his miss to miss the playoffs, but a good match there. Minnesota United get a win here, 2-1 over Austin FC, and I don't know. Minnesota United with kind of they just announced a new head coach. He's a former United assistant. I don't think he was on the sidelines for this, but they got Timu Puki. Didn't have the best game in here. They got they got some players.
They had 19 shots with 10 on goal though.
They did, and they had a 2-1 going in. I mean, they scored that second one in the 91st, and Austin got just a late one in the 95th. But Minnesota United gonna be sneaky there a little bit. FC Dallas 2-1 win over San Jose, and FC Dallas, yes, it took them late until the 94th minute. A Dante Sealy goal. but look for them. They're going to be better. Talked about that a little bit on the last pod and the preview. Don't really know what to make of San Jose. Lost some players. Jackson Ewell's still there. That's about the only name that you're going to probably recognize. Jeremy Bobasai is there. So good win from Dallas. Probably should have won it. Just left the game late, but nonetheless, they got it there. Sporting KC, Houston Dynamo 1-1. Solid teams. Both made the playoffs last year. Sporting KC barely. Dynamo goals came quick, within the 61st and 69th. But a pretty decent 1-1 draw there. Similar to St. Louis City and Real Salt Lake. 1-1 draw at City Park. Goals came kind of quick there within a 5-minute time frame. So a couple of draws there in the West. And then the nightcap, I actually got home to watch this, and I turned it off probably somewhere in the second half because, it was late, and the game was out of hand by that time. 4 goals in the first half by Portland as the Phil Neville debut for Portland, quite a success, as my Colorado Rapids did not look good. You're playing in Providence Park. You just got overpowered in that game. Anthony, no, not that Anthony from United, a different Brazilian, had a brace and had a good game. But yeah, that game got out of hand quick, and like I said, I turned it off somewhere early in the second half. Moving on to Sunday, FC Cincinnati and Toronto 0-0 result, as well as Nashville SC and New York Red Bulls a 0-0 result. I watched the tail end of the FC Cincinnati and most of the Nashville game. I took a nap somewhere in the center there, so I woke up to a 0-0, so I didn't miss a whole lot. But those 4 teams, interesting signings, interesting teams. I will say for New York City, for New York Red Bulls, Forsberg looked good. Emil Forsberg, a European player coming over, even at 32 years, he looked good. He had some shots, had some chances, was active. He looked like a proper signing for them. They're going to be better for sure. And lastly, we talked about it, Inter Miami and LA Galaxy. Listen, this is the type of we're going to put up with Inter Miami all year. They got lucky as hell in this game.
Yeah.
LA Galaxy, you can look at possession, but then every other stats. Expected goals from the Galaxy. 3.37 expected goals to 0.63 for Inter Miami. 24 shots to 11. 9 shots on targets to 5. 5 big chances to 1. Miami with 19 fouls to 14. I don't know how it was 1-1. There was a red card that happened there from a second yellow. BS call, in my opinion. Maybe a foul, but not a second yellow. I don't know what to say. I mean, Galaxy were the better team in this. Miami got away with a 90-second plus SE goal, which was after the red card in the 75th. So the dying moments got one back. But LA Galaxy aren't the premier team in the West.
No.
Inter Miami is going to come up against some teams that they play like this again. And from what we've seen in preseason, that's likely because of their defense. When your best player and the man of the match for both teams is your goal keeper, or we're going to see what Miami do. Some fantastic players, but
that doesn't always translate though. Great, MLS. And when you have those DP signings and like it doesn't always work out because it doesn't spread out across the team.
It does not. So yeah, that was your opening weekend. Big match for Orlando here, as on Saturday at 4:00 they play Inter Miami. Speaking of the Devils,
yep. Is that
so
home?
Hopefully, what's that?
Is that a home match?
Down in Miami. We don't play Miami at home till I think May or something like that. But I think that match is a nationally televised one, obviously because of that guy named Messi. But yeah. Big match and a lot of games to look forward to. We're pretty much here until September. MLS games happening every weekend, and the league is better. Apple TV Plus's coverage is darn good. The quality of the games when you watch them are good. Maybe not the best soccer, but it's a good league, similar to the NWSL. If you got a team anywhere near you, just go to a game. You don't have to support them right off the bat. Just go to a game. Have some fun.
Man, between MLS, NWSL, the USL leagues in its various forms, and there's something near you. Go get out and see some soccer.
And U.S. national soccer. Here in Orlando, we have the U.S. men playing Brazil in June.
Oh, yeah.
How cool is that?
That's awesome.
That was just announced.
We were trying to figure out a June trip for taking the kid or a summer trip to the Disney World. Maybe
when those when those tickets go on sale, let me know.
Maybe that'd be a good idea. Well, speaking of the women's or our national teams that get us over to the CONCACAF World Cup women's review.
Sure does. U.S. finished second in the group. Yes, second, as they lost to Mexico 2-0 the other night. Late game. I stayed up, watched it all. Oof. I'll tell you, folks, if you don't watch this, Mexico, that 2-0 win was a deserved 2-0 win. Yes, it was a turnover by Sauerbrunn for kind of the first and bad bit of play, but it was, and yes, Mexico scored a late goal to put that second one on, but Mexico really dominated play in this, dictated play. I love Sam Coffey, but in midfield, she just looked overrunning this a bit. It's a young team, yes. It's a different team, but you need better. I'm really looking forward to Emma Hayes because we have the talent, we have the skills, we have the people that can score goals, that can make the plays. They're young, they're hungry, but that organization doesn't seem to be there. And what Vlatko was doing for the World Cup is kind of translating to this team, and it still has shades of that. So until Emma Hayes can get in there, really get her hands on it, and set up a style that gets the U.S. back, teams like this, who they haven't beaten in forever and who haven't gotten scored against or scored all these wild stats, right, for the U.S., these teams are coming after the U.S. Everybody you play is coming after them because for years U.S. pounded them. They're coming after them because they're in a weird way. I don't know this is going to be, but like for years, Manchester United and U.S. women's national team were those like premier teams, right? They were just dominating play, winning everything. Now, when there's those big chinks in the armor that you're seeing, teams are like, okay, all right, we can go after you now. We can actually have a run. We can play a little bit more expansive. Oh my, we're going to score goals. We're going to beat you. We're going to knock you out of this. We're going to knock you out of that. And that's what's happened to both. And for the U.S., that's why the U.S. hire, we talked about it. It had to be a big coaching hire.
Yes. It could not just be a status quo situation at all. It had to take a swing for the fence. And I think they did.
Yes, and that is, if not the biggest name in men's soccer when it comes to the managerial side of things, it's one of the biggest. And I can't wait for that. But getting to the tournament, Mexico finished first in the group. U.S. finished second in the group. Yes, top two teams in each group finish, along with I think the top third place team. So what the other groups look like: Group Gold Cup, Group B, Brazil and Colombia 1 and 2, and then Canada topped Group C with Paraguay in second. Now the other teams just to kind of advance in that are Costa Rica and Paraguay as those top two teams. Actually, I'm sorry, all the third place teams advance. I made that up. All the third teams place advance. Kind of weird. I thought we'd be playing a Brazil or a Canada. No, we're playing Colombia on March 3rd. Colombia finished second in their group with a win-loss draw. Scored 6 goals as well, 7 goal difference. So pretty much exactly what the U.S. did. But we play them this Saturday, March 3rd at 8:15 p.m. at BMO Stadium, so up in Canada. The last several results for U.S. against Colombia. Colombia, at least since January 2021, they played 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. Colombia hasn't scored a single goal. I'll go back to January 18th of 2021. Colombia hasn't scored a single goal. We'll see. We'll see. I like the U.S. in this. Their percentage to win, their yada, yada, yada. They should win this game. But we're not talking the same U.S. team here. And if they're not careful, Colombia could knock them out here in this quarter final game. So Sunday, 8:15 p.m.
It's an exciting time for potential, though. There's a lot of new potential, and seeing, we've sat with a very similar team that's shifted a little bit over a long time, and it's I'm excited. Even with this loss, seeing the new faces, seeing people out there, some of our youngest goal scorers and everything else, it's an exciting time.
Yeah.
A lot of new legends are gonna be made, forged in the fire. Is that all the footy talk?
That is all of the Latest Roundup.
All right. Well, for our beer mentions of the pod, I from Crane Brewing had their Berliner Weiss, their apricot Weiss.
And got an employer on for me, Big Storm Brewing, which we've had on the pod several times. But their Bromance New England Hazy IPA, new beer from them, absolutely fantastic on my second, 6.5% ABV, and loving this beer.
You got a Zlatan quote for us?
I do not, but I've done this a few times since maybe one other time I've been here. The GOAT, Cristiano Ronaldo. Not a quote, but a gesture this past week. If you didn't see it, he did you remember the old, was it WWF with the suck it?
Oh, yeah.
Type stuff.
God,
yeah,
what was that?
Similar gesture, not quite.
Was it NXT or what?
And it was the NXT that did the suck it, and they did the
yeah.
Yeah, not quite the same thing, but a similar gesture towards that region. We'll call it. In a late one of his latest Saudi games, as fans have been hammering him, saying Messi is the best. You're whatever. You're washed up. I don't know, but what they're saying over there. But he kind of just gave it back to him. Well, get this. A land with a lot of, we'll just call it human rights issues in itself. The league that is in Saudi Arabia has handed him a 1-match suspension, and after making the obscene gesture in a 3-2 win, the Disciplinary and Ethics Committee of Saudi Football Federation, the SAFF, made the decision after video footage showed Ronaldo, 39, cupping his ear in what appeared to be to the direction of Al Shabab fans before repeatedly thrusting his hand forward near his pelvis. That's the quote of the pod right there. Chants of Messi could be heard in the footage that was circulated online, reflecting referencing Ronaldo's long-standing sporting rival with him. He's also ordered to pay a fine of 10,000 Saudi rials, and that equates to about $2,666 in the U.S. or 2,462 pounds.
You mean how much
euros?
You mean how much he made when he yawned just now?
Pretty much.
Yeah,
but he's suspended for a game. So, whoever they play next, I'd be pissed as hell that he got suspended. I want to see Ronaldo play. The clash against Al Hazim. So, yeah, that's my kind of. If you want to hear the quote of the pod again, direction of Al Shabab fans repeatedly thrusting his hand forward near his pelvis.
Can we get that on a T-shirt for the Brewtiful Game?
Thrusting his hand forward near his
pelvis. But you got to draw it like the WWE. Well, yes. I think it was WWF for that time period. Yeah, doing this, right. But it's Ronaldo.
Exactly. That would be a great, beautiful.
You got to do it like the guy who does the poorly drawn Arsenal. Do you know what I'm talking about? Have you seen those? Like, yeah, do the art like. Oh my God, that's amazing. Well, speaking of amazing, if you think we're amazing, make sure you leave us a review on your podcast app and let us know. We'll get something fun to mail to you. Tell your grandma about us. Tell your friends and family. Check us out on thebrutifulgame.com. You can reach us on Twitter, X, whatever. Why is it X if you still make tweets?
And you still called it's what would have been smarter? I thought about this here. If Elon Musk would have just called it Twitter X, because everybody refers to it that way. Yeah. Why not just name it that way? And boom, you have instant new branding without really changing it, and people can just roll it off their tongue.
They're like, that's not a retweet; it's a quote. Now I'm like, no, whatever, dude.
That's it. Yeah.
It is what it is. But give us a follow there. Check us out on Untappd. We put up all our beers and stuff. I think Ron just had some new ones from his trips out west. He stayed in the States this go round, so he wasn't quite as far away. And I don't have a dad joke, but I have a crazy story that happened last night.
Okay.
My wife was cooking. We were like prepping dinner. So I was like doing like the garlic bread, and she was like moving the pasta out of the the colander and like pouring it into the putting the noodles back in the pot to sauce them up, and some of the hot water like splashed out into her foot, and she like you could tell like she wanted to scream and curse so bad, so she grabbed the colander and put it in front of her face and just yelled as loud as she could. And I was like, whoa, you can't do that, because if you yell into that colander, you're going to strain your voice. Strain because it's a strainer.
Yeah, no, I understand that. I have an audio joke as well, though.
Hit me.
What happens if someone slaps you at a high frequency?
Oh, I don't know. I feel like when you know it, I don't know this.
It hurts.
Oh, that's a good one. Wait, why didn't we have Tony Sounds Good for this one? That's a good one.
Right.
That's a good one. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you as always, Ferris. A pleasure, my friend.
Absolutely, brother.
Love the beer. Cherish the game. The Brewtiful Game.
Ron, sorry.
Travel safe. Sorry, dude.